So we have here for our inverse variation class. So inverse variation occurs whenever a situation produces pairs of numbers whose product is constant. So in our direct class, unsa man atong constant ato niya? What letter signifies our constant? Unsa man to siya nga letter?
Okay.
Okay, very good. Ang K. So we have there, here in our inverse as well, our constant is also K. Okay, so for quantities X and Y, an increase in X causes a decrease in Y or vice versa. So as what we have said a while ago, kung musaka ang X, munaog ang Y. Munaog ang X, musaka ang Y. So that is inverse. So how do we read our inverse variation? So we can say that Y varies inversely as X. Or if we're going to write that one in mathematical sentence, that is Y is equals to our constant over X. Okay? So, makasina din tag difference sa ato ang direct variation. Since for our direct variation, that is Y is equals to K times X. Which is more good na ito ang basihan class. Tungod ra gyud anang word nga na ay varies directly, na ay varies inversely, varies proportionally, or direct proportionally. Okay? But here in inverse is, we have here y is equals to k over x. So the statement y varies inversely to x translate to this equation where our k is the constant of variation. So as you can see, they have the same constant, which is k lang gihapon. Okay? K lang gihapon. Now, let's try to solve some problems, class, in our inverse variation. So, we have here the first one. Anna lives 40 kilometers away from the office of ABC Corporation where she works. Driving a car, the time it takes her to reach work depends on her average speed. Okay, so meaning to say, magdepende ang iyahang time or pila ka minutes or pila ka hours mo take going to her work sa iyahang average, sa iyahang padagan sa iyahang car. So now, I have here a table. So, kani siya nga table is also given. So, we have here, on the first part or on the upper part, which is ato siyang ibutang as our x, that is our time. So, meaning to say that is per hour. So, we have here 1 hour, and then you have there 4 over 5, and then we have 2 over 3, 4 over 7, and then 1 half. So, you have there our distance that is in kilometers. So for 1 hour, that is 40 kilometers. And then for 4 over 5 hour, that is 50. And then 2 over 3 hours, that is 50 gihapon, ihang kilometers. And then 4 over 7, that is 70. Or maybe this is 60, typo lang ni siya. Okay, 40, 50, 60 na siya. And then 70 ang 4 over 7. And then 1 half hour or 30 minutes, that is 80. Okay? So, mao ni iyahang table or mao ni iyahang time frame. It depends sa iyahang speed, ang iyahang ma-reach nga oras pagpadong sa iyahang trabahoan. Now, here, how do the speed and time travel affect each other? So, how this affects our um, each other? Sige daw. Let's try to answer. By just looking at our table, ang ratio. Yes, so what happens to the ratio? So sa atong makita diha class, 40, 50, 60 ni siya sa 60, 70, 80. And then yang oras kay 1 hour and then 4 over 5, 2 over 3, 4 over 7, and then 1 half. So, by just merely looking at our table, what can we infer? Sige daw. Sa man itong masay ani niya. Sa itong ma-judge. How do the speed, how do the kilometers and time travel affect each other? Anyone? How does it affect each other? Sige. Unsay nahitabo sa iyahang time class o sa iyahang distance? From 1 hour 30 minutes and then from 40 to 80. Ayaw kalibog, tanawa lang ang table. Okay, increase ang unsa. Dakuma. Tanawon ra gyud dato ang table class. Naunsa ang oras ug naunsa ang distansya. Okay, ni-increase ang speed and then naunsa ang time. Time and distance ni-increase. Remember that is 1 hour han, then dinhi kay 1/2 hour. So meaning to say this is already 30 minutes. So 30 minutes na ni siya. So diri 1 hour and then this one is 30 minutes. I know naglibog mo kay kuan na ni siya kanang in fraction form. Pero ari na lang ta mag-base para dili mo maglibog. 1 hour and then nahimong 1/2. And then ang distance 40 and then nahimog 80. So unsa may naka-affect? Di ba sa atong makita here, while the time is nigamay, di ba nigamay ang time. So from 1 hour to 1/2, ang iyahang speed or iyahang distance or iyahang kilometer kay ni dako. So meaning to say, we have there, an increase in speed produces a decrease in time in traveling. Right? Kung magpakusog siya dagan tas, dali ra siya maabot sa trabahoan. In Binisaya pa. 'Di ba? So, kung kusog iyahang padagan sa iyahang sakyanan, mas gamay ang oras nga dali ra nga maabot siya sa iyahang trabahoan. Okay? So, by just looking merely at our graph here, or our table here, makita man ta nga from 1 hour to 1/2. So, 30 minutes. So, iyahang distansya from 42, or iyahang distance that is 40 to 80. So, meaning to say, naagyo di ay something sa iyahang speed. Kung magpakusog siya dagan, dan dali ra siya maabot. Kung magpahinay siya dagan, hinay ra, dugay po siya maabot. Okay? So, that's why we have here, can we say that this is a inverse variation? Yes or no? Inverse ba siya? Okay. Without question mark, that is a yes. Okay? Since ningon man ta, basta inverse gani ang usa kay musaka, ang usa moubos. Naa naman ta diyo, an increase in speed produces a decrease in time. So meaning to say that is inverse variation. Now let's proceed with our next question. Write a mathematical statement to represent the statement. So how are we going to write the representation? So you can use what was given on your problem. So you have there, the speed d is inversely proportional to the time. So which is, we can write s is equals to k over t. So meaning to say that is the speed varies inversely to the time. So meaning to say s is equal to k over t. So makuha na to ang speed if we're going to divide the constant by the time. Okay? Makuha na to ang speed kung atong i-divide ang constant by the time. So that is your equation that represents your problem. So giunsa na pud na siya nato pagkuha. So mo na siya nga ato ang um, previous nga slide, which is you have there y varies proportionally to your x. So mo ni siya. Okay, so that is your speed man. So this is your y. So mo na siya s. And then equals your constant and then over the time, your x. Okay? And then let's proceed with, is there a constant number involved? And then explain the process that you have in finding out. So how are we going to get? Yes? Okay. So is there a constant number involved? If we're going to look at our mathematical statement or our given equation, then the answer is yes. And how do we get our constant? So, unsaon nato pag kuha sa atong constant? So, by just merely substituting your values of x and y or kaning time nimo gimuhang distance, you can get your constant. So, you have there S is equal to K over T is equals to 40 over T where K is equals to 40. So, ano man siyang 40 over T? 40 over 1 na siya class ha? So, kanang, kung ano mo class, you have their S man. So, imo na siyang i-substitute or imo siyang i-divide both sides by T. Okay? So, ito siyang ipakita sa Jamboard, no? Pwede mo maglibog. So, we have here, a moment ha? Okay. So, we have here, diba, we are going to use our equation. So, that is S. Okay. That is S is equal to K over T. Diba, mama ni siya itong na-form nga equation. So, by just using the speed nga naa dito sa imuhang given, so that is 1 hour man and then iyahang distance is 40. So, you can just have like 40 as your speed and then equivalent to K over, and then you have there T. So, imong T ato is 1 man. So, asa na siya makita, class? So, kani siya ha? Mani siya itong basis. You have there 1 and then 40. So, imo na siyang i-substitute. So, you have there 40 over T. Diretso lang na siya, class. So, mani siyang naadiri. Okay? And then, ang atuang goal is we need to get man our value of K. So, para makuha na to ang K, kana siya K over 1 naman na siya. So, meaning to say, you can just simply write K is equals to 40. So, that is now your constant. So, ma-apply na nimo imong constant diha on your following nga mga numbers. So, imo na siyang i-substitute sa imuhang given nga problem. Okay, so that is how you're going to get your constant. So, same result gihapon na siya sa tuang direct proportion. Okay, so far, do you have any questions for the first example? So that later on kay makapractice pa ta. Sige, any questions? Okay, no questions? Okay. Actually, naani siya sa inyong kuan class, sa inyong LMS. Last week pa. Okay, but this is the first slide. Okay, naani siya sa LMS last week pa. Okay. Now, let's go to our example number 2. So this time is you're going to practice how to write an equation for the following statements in our inverse variation. So I have here some problems and then you are going to make it into a equation. You have there the number of pizza slices, P, varies inversely as the number of person, N, sharing a whole pizza. So how are we going to write that one, class? So same ra jud gihapon na siya. Yes?
P equals K divided by N.
Okay, very good. So you have there P is equals to K divided by N, or P is equals to K over N. And then kung kuhaon na to ang iyahang kuan plus iyahang constant, you can have K is equals to P times N. Okay? So giunsa din na siya pagkuha ang K is equals to kuan teacher kanang P is equals to um K is equals to P times N. So pagkuhaan na niya, class, di ba, mao man ni siya tong equation. So mao ni siya tong equation sa P is equals to K over N. So ato ra na siyang i-multiply both sides by N, class. Okay, we're just going to multiply both sides by N para makancel ang N diri, makancel pud ni siya. Ang mahibilin diha is N times P and then equals to K. So nanaon pagkuha ang imuhang constant. Okay? So para dili mo maglibog nganong naa na siya diha. Now, class, makita ra gyud ninyo no basta naamoy unsay first letter diha mo na siya sa left. And then naamoy word nga varies inversely, that is equal, and then constant sa babaw, and then n, that is the number of people sharing the whole pizza. Now let's proceed with the next one. The length L of a rectangular varies inversely as its width. Length of a rectangular varies inversely. We have from Pateras, L is equals to K over W. Very good. And then same gyapon ganina, K is equals to LW. That is for on how you're going to get your constant. Now for the last one, class. The mass of an object varies inversely as the acceleration due to gravity. Okay. We have there M is equals to K over G, and then where K is equals to mg. So far, any questions for writing equations? Okay, none. Now, this time is we're going to proceed with our example number 3. So, we're going to solve for K. So, meaning to say we're going to solve for our constant. So, we have here our problem. Y varies inversely as x, and y is equals to 6, and x is equals to 18. So, ari jud ka magsugod ana niya, class. Kanang first nimo nga sentence, that would be your equation. So, you have there y varies inversely as x. So, unsaon man ni nato siya paghimo as an equation. Sige, mag-start sa ta sa equation. Y varies inversely as x. So, same na siya sa inyong gibuhat previous slide, class. Y varies inversely as x. Okay, very good. I don't know if I only have Andador and Pateres and Labuca and Dakuma as my student. How about the others? Napaday si Habonero. Sikag ka left, Des. Sa kuan, sa meet. Kuan ang connection. Okay. So, but I hope no, you're still listening even though okay. Even though silent night or silent mode ang uban, basta di lang yun matug. Okay? Basta di lang yun matug, class. Okay? Find ways nga ma-entertain ka or kuan na nimo. Okay, buhi pa di ay. Sige, maayo. So, you have there, ari gyud ta magsugod, class, ha, um in our English nga phrases. So, ato siya ni siyang i-change into a equation. So, you have there your y varies inversely as x. Di ba? Mao man ni siya. y varies inversely over x. So y is equals to k times x. Ara jud ka magsugod ana niya. And then this time is you will have already y is equals to 6 and then x is equals to 18. So ang atong ipangita diri is solve for k man. So meaning to say kuhaon na to ang k ani niya. Okay, very good. We have from andador 6 is equal to k times 18. So you have there, i-substitute ra nato siya. So you have there, sa to man ni siyang kuantlas, sa to ang pagkuha sa to ang constant. So same sa kung giingon ninyo, you're just going to divide both sides sa atong denominator, which is x. So ang kani siya makancel ang mabirin sa left or sa right na to kay k, and then this one kay x times y na siya. So that's why you have there k is equals to k times y. Okay? Now, ato na dayon siyang i-substitute sa to ang given, which is 18 o 6. So, multiply na to class. 18 times 6. Pila man na siya. That is equivalent to okay, that is 100A. So, it means to say our K here or our constant is 108. So, nakita na dayon na to siya. Now, this time, let's go to our next example. So, we have here, suppose A varies inversely with B. When B is equals to 4, A is equals to 1/2, we're going to find the constant and equation. Remember, atong pangitaon kay constant o equation. Now, ang sagay ito first na to, kani atong imuon og equation una. A varies inversely with B. A varies inversely with B. Is it B is equals to K over A? Or is it A is equals to K over B? Okay, bale siya. Remember kung unsay una gisuwat diha mao po na left class ha? Okay. Now, let's proceed since nakuha naman nato atong equation class. That's the time pangitaon na nato ang angay pangitaon. So you have there, ningon man ta nga pangitaon ang constant og equation. So mag-start ta sa atong constant, mao na siya atong K. So same procedure sa atong gibuhat ganina. So ibutang nato atong given, so that is A is equals to 1/2 and then B is equals to 4. So ang kanay mong equation, i-change na nimo siya into K ang equal. So multiply both sides by B para makancel ang B diri, and then here, that is B times A, that is equivalent to A times B. So you will have this equation, which is K is equals to A times B to get your constant. And then, i-substitute ra nimo imong given. So we have there 4 times 1/2 or 1/2 times 4. Pila man na siya, class? Okay, that is 2. So, meaning to say, our constant is 2. Now, class, finish na ba ta? Arira ba ta kutob? Okay, wala pa. Since we are going to get the equation pa man. Constant pa man na siya, class. So, we are going to have the equation. So, in getting the equation, class, kanay mong constant, imura na i-substitute sa imuhang first nga gikuha ganina. Okay, very good. So, you have there A is equals to 2 over B. So, ang pagkuha sa equation, class, is kanira na siya kaning first nimo dire, and then ang K ra imong i-substitute. So, you will have there A is equals to 2 over B. Okay? So, that is how you are going to get your equation. Okay? So far, any questions for 3 and 4? Okay, none ra. Okay, easy. Okay. Now, this time, class, is we are going to have our next example. So here, if y varies inversely and x and y is equals to 10 when x is equals to 2, find y when x is equals to 10. Okay. So, same gyapon nga process ka sa arita magsugod sa kinaunhan nga sentence. So, you have there y varies inversely and x. I think that is y varies inversely with x na siya, class. Wrong ang word nga and. Okay? So, what is our equation there? Or varies inversely as x. Okay, so you have there y is equals to k over x. Very good. And then this time, class, imo na din na isuwat imong given diha. You have y is equals to 10 and then x is equals to 2. So, naman tayo given nga y is equals to 10 og x is equals to 2. Unsay first pangitaon, class? Okay, ang k gyud ang unang pangitaon. Okay? Ang k ang unang pangitaon. Di ay una. Ikaduha. Kaya ang first, ang equation man. Ang ikaduha, ang k na dayon. Okay? Now, we are just going to solve for our k. So, ato na siyang buhaton into ani nga equation. So, the same. Multiply both sides by x. Cancel x. And then here, you have their x times y. So, ang mabilin, k is equals to x times y. And then, mo na siya mong i-substitute sa imong given diha nga y is equals to 10, x is equals to 2. So, substitute na nato, class, you have there 2 times 10, so that is k is equals to 20. Now, are we done? No. Now, this time, class, ato na dayong pangitaon ang find y when x is equals to 10. So, ang kanimong k diri, imo sana siyang i-substitute dira sa imong given nga equation. So, you will have there y is equals to 20 over x. And then, imo na dahil ni siyang pangitaon imong find y when x is 20. So, pagkuha nimo ana, imo ra i-substitute imuhang 10 diri tapad sa imuhang or sa imong over sa 20. So, you can have y is equals to 20 over 10. So, meaning to say, your y is equivalent to 2. If your x is equivalent to 10. Di ba, makita na ito nga inverse ra gyud si Isia. Kay, kung y kay 10, ang x kay 2. Kung x kay 10, ang y kay 2. Okay, good. Questions for example 5? Okay. Now, let's proceed with the next one. If y varies inversely as x and y is equals to 1/3, when x is equals to 18, what is the value of y when x is equals to 2? Okay, start gyapon ta sa equation. So, unsa man ato ang equation diha, class? Okay, same lang gihapon. Y is equals to k over x. Now, unsay pangitaon nato nga first, second, our k. So, naman kay given diha nga y is 1/3, x is 18. So, we can have k is equals to x times y. So, pila man na siyang 18 times 1/3. Okay, that is 6. So, your k is 6. So, imo na siyang i-kuan diri, i-substitute. So, you have there y is equals to 6 over x. Now, pangitaon nato ang y kung ang x kay 2. So, substitute. Y is equals to 6 over 2. What's the answer? That is 3. So, meaning to say, if your x is 2, your y is equals to 3. Nasabtan? Good, Surabata? Okay. Sige. Now, let's go to our example number 7. Naghanad example, ani no? Sharod jud kasabot lagi, no? Sa kadaghan example ba? So, we have here, example number 7, Sharod yun. A crew of 12 can build a hut in 8 days. How long would it take a crew of 4 to build the same hut? Okay? So, daghan kay mong magian inaani nga problems, class. Inig ka grade 10, 11, 12, college. And then, ang inyong i-apply radi ay kay variation radi ay. So, makaingon jud mo nga, bantag nakasabot ko ato, nga klase. So, you have there, we have let y is equals to number of days to build a hut. And then we have there, x is the number of crew. So, what are we going to do here first, class? Okay. So, the same as what you have or use in our inverse. So, we have y is equals to k over x. Okay? And then, let's solve for k. So, saan nato pag-solve ang k? So, gamito ni nato naman tay gi-label diha nga ang y daw kay number of days. So, meaning to say, number of days that is 8. And then, ang number of crew that is 12. So, you have there, i-multiply na nato ang k times, 8 times 12. So, that is 96. So, that is the constant. Now, this time kay pila ko no, kaadlaw, would it take a crew of 4 to build the same hut? So, substitute sa din nato siya diri. So, imura na siyang substitute imong x. Kay di ba ang crew nato kay mo man na siya ang x. So, substitute. So, you have there, y is equals to 96 over 4. Pila? That is 24. So, meaning to say, if there are 4 crew, it would take them 24 days to build a hut. Okay? So, that is for example 7. Okay. Now, let's go to the last one. The number of hours T required to finish a job varies inversely as the number of persons. So, N ang atong persons. If 16 persons requires 18 hours to finish the job, how long would it take 64 person to finish the job? Okay. So, mag-start ta sa ato ang equation. You have there the number of hours, T, and then the required to finish a job varies inversely as the number of persons. Okay, so we can use T is equals to K over N. Kay T man number of hours and then varies inversely as the number of persons, so K over N. Now, let's find out our N, our K rather. So, we have there T is equals to, K is equals to T times N. So, substitute ra nimo kay naman kay 16 persons diha mo require og 18 hours. So, 18 times 16, that is 288. And then, ari na po ta, mag-answer na ta, how many or how long would it take a person to, or 64 persons to finish the job. So, ato na siyang i-divide. So, you have there 288 divided by 64. Pila siya, class? Okay. That is 4.5 hours. So, it means to say, kung 64 ka tao, for upat o 4.5 hour, 4.5 hours na ilahang pagtrabaho sa pagtrabaho to finish the job. Okay? So, that's it for our inverse. Now, do you have any questions? We still have 2 more to go. Okay. So, that's it for inverse and direct. So, I hope na-refresh ra ang mind, no? Supposedly, last week, maguna siya then. Na-short man ta last week. Last week. Okay, easy. Hala, easy ra daw. O, sa ato mga naglibog, that is there for you. Okay. So, any questions, class? Clarifications, violent reactions? Nagduwa og unsa? Okay. Wala na, class? Wala right questions? If wala na questions, palihog kog chat o thumbs up. Sige. Wa mo thumbs up, sendan ta mo para naamoy thumbs up. Okay. Sige. Goods na, no? Sige. Now, this time, class, is we are done with direct. We have inverse. And this time is we're going to have joint. Okay. So, dili lang ta mo end sa duha. So, we have here katulo pag yun. So, we are going to have now our joint variation. Okay. So, unsa dining joint variation, teacher? So, atong i-review kadiyot. Ang direct variation, that is y varies directly with x, or y is directly proportional to x, may be translated as y is equals to k times x. While inverse, a while ago nga discussion, y varies inversely to x may be translated as y is equals to k over x. Now, for our joint variation, we have here A varies jointly as B and C, means A is equals to the constant times B times C. Or, if we're going to get the constant, that is K is equals to A over B over B times C, where K is the constant of variation. Okay. Nananingon daghan na. Actually, napa na siya usa class, which is combined. Pero, I think di na nato siya makaya today. So, laban ng yapon ta. Okay? So, that is our joint variation class. Meaning to say, same ra siya sa ato ang direct, but naa na siya other partner. Or meaning to say, naa na siya other nga mga letters diha or other terms. So, you have there, gijoin na nato, you have there B and C. So, our key here in our joint variation is, you have more letters or more terms, and you have there the word and. Okay? That is for joint variation. Okay, so now, without further ado, mag-practice na dayon tag-translate. So we're going to translate each statement into a mathematical sentence, and we're going to use K as the constant of variation. Now, let's begin with P varies jointly as Q and R. So how are we going to write this one? Same sa itong ipakita ganina. K is equals to P over Q times R. Constant na siya. In getting the constant, okay na siya, pero kuan pa man ta. Equation sa ta first. P varies jointly as Q and R. Saan man ni nato? Ipangtapad na siya tanan class. And then, i-separate lang ang P. So, you have there, P is equal P is equals to K times Q times R. Your constant, your Q and R. So, same ra siya og direct proportion gani, pero ang direct proportion is isa lang to siya. Diba, ang atong direct proportion is P varies directly as Q raman to siya. Karon kay nana siya pair nga lain, which is, makita ninyo nga na word nga and. So, that is how you're going to write your joint variation. Okay? Now, sige, let's practice more. We have here the area of a parallelogram varies jointly as the base B and altitude H. Saan man ni siya? Okay. A is equals to K times B times H. Very good, Janina. That is A is equals to K times B times H. Next one. The volume of a cylinder V varies jointly as its height H and the square of the radius R. Okay. So, best in participation kayo si Janina, no? How about the others? So, you have there, V is equals to K times H times R raised to 2. So, anong na siya raised to 2 class? Because you have there the square of the radius R man. Meaning to say, you're going to have the exponent 2. Okay? The square of the radius R. Take note with the words, class ha. Take note with the words. Okay, now let's go to number 4. Nakita siya. The heat H produced by an electric lamp varies jointly as the resistance and the square of the current I. Sige, how are we going to write this one? Okay. H is equals to K times R times I raised to 2. Okay, and that is correct. H is equals to K times R times I raised to 2. You have their resistance and then times the square of the current man. So that is I squared. Down to the next one, we have here the force F applied to an object varies jointly as the mass M and acceleration. Okay. That is F is equals to K times M times A. Okay. Sige. Now, do you have any questions, class? Much better yun nga mag-practice mo in writing the mathematical sentence because this is the first step ba ya? So, once nasayop na mo sa first step, everything will follow is also incorrect. Okay? Sige. Now, any questions? Okay, none. Now, this time, class, is we are going to have our example already. Okay? So, we have here z varies jointly as x and y. If z is equals to 16, when x is equals to 4 and y is equals to 6. So, find the constant of variation and equation of the relation. Shon. Okay. So, we have there, so first na to is we're going to our equation. So, you have there z, they call this one as z varies jointly as x and y. So, unsaon man na nato siya, class? How do we write this into mathematical statement? Same sa inyong gibuhat ganina. Okay, so we have here z is equals to k times x times y. Very good. So, you have there, sa atong equation, you have k is equals to, or z is equals to k times x times y. Now, this time is we're going to have now, atong pangitao na nga to ang constant. Okay. How are we going to get the constant? So, i-substitute ra din nato siya. So, i-change po din nato ang atong equation into constant. So, you have there, kani siya, class, ato ra siyang gi-substitute diretso. Okay? So, substitute na nato, wala na siya nato gi-change into like k is equals to, para dili mo maglisod, kaya mas dali man ni siya i-solve. Ingon ani. Hawa ra go diar. Malabayan gyud ti kanya. Unsa nang gikuha? Ibalik. Okay, so you have there 16. That is your z man imong 16 given. And then k, which is to find out pa kay missing. And then you have there your x is 4. And then y is 6. And then you're going to simplify. Okay, very good. 4 times 6 times k, that is 24k. 4 times 6, 24. And then times k, that is 24k. And then you're just going to divide both sides by 24 para mabilin diha is k. So, ang may tabo niya, k is equals to 16 over 24. Or pwede po na siya diri sa left side ha nga 16 over 24 is equals to k. Okay, this is in equality form. Pwede ra ma-change ang left o right. Now, can we still simplify 16 over 24? Mugamay pa ba ni siya? Okay, so if we're going to simplify 16 over 24, pila man na siya, class? Okay, 0.66 in decimal, yes. Or we can have that one as divide both sides by 4. So 16 divided by 4, that is, or 16, that is 4 over 6. Or 2 over 3. I-divide mo siya by 8 by 8. 16 divided by 2, 16 divided by 8, that is 2. 24 divided by 8, that is 3. So you will have there, your k is equivalent to 2 over 3. Now, are we done? Ar pahawa ra gud ar. Naog bi. Okay. So we need to find the equation pa kay napamantay giingon diha. So ang pagkuha ra gyud nato sa equation class kay substitute ra gyud na nato atong k diri. So meaning to say we can have our equation of variation as z or z is equal to 2 over 3 times x times y. So your equation is mono na siya. Gibalik kag suwat. Okay? So you need to look at your problem class how what is asked para dili mo maglibog kung unsa di gipangitaan niya oy kay daghana nagi-solve oy nya wata kay bawo unsa nga atong gipangita. Okay? Questions for this one? Okay, wala ra. Now let's go to the next one, class. So we have here, find an equation of variation in which y varies jointly as x and z, and y is equals to 45 when x is equals to 18 and z is equals to 10. So find y when x is equals to 20 and z is equals to 30. Okay, so first step, we need to get our equation. So, unsa may equation ani niya, class? Y varies jointly as x and z. Okay, very good. So, we have there y is equals to k times x times z. Naroon na siya diya, y varies equals and then x og z. Tangan na ni mo constant. Okay? Now, let's go to finding our k. So, in finding our k, substitute ra ni natong tulo ka given diri, which is y, x, and z. So, you have there, y is 45, x is 18, z is 10. Simplify, you have there 18 times 10, that is 180k. And then divide both sides by 180k. So, that is, pila man ang 45 over 180. Pila man na siya. Okay. Is that 4? 4 over 180 man. 45 over 180 man. That is maybe 1/4. Diba? Kay 45 man. So 45, i-divide ni mo 45. 180 divided by 45, that is 4. Now, this time is, we're going to find y when x is equals to 20 and z is equals to 30. So, muna siya tong next one, which is, but for our equation is, i-change ra na to ang k. Ayaw ko na di, Arbe. So, you have there, i-solve na to ang ato ang y. So, you have there 1/4 and then i-multiply na nato sa tong given nga 20 and then z nga 30. So, your y is equivalent to pila man. 1/4 times 20 times 30. Pila na siya, class? Sige, naa pa ba may calcu diha? Okay. So, 6, pila man ni siya? You have there 20 times 30, that is 600. And then 600, i-divide og 4, that is 150. So, your y is equivalent to 150 if your x is equals to 20 and then your z is equals to 30. Okay? Sige, any questions for this example? Wala? Okay. Now, this time, class, this is the last example. And we're going to have the area of a triangle varies jointly as the base B and altitude h of the triangle. If area is equivalent to 65 centimeters squared, when B is equals to 10 cm and h is equals to 13 cm, find the area of triangle whose base is 8 cm and whose altitude is 11 cm. Now, you have there A is equals to K times B times H. No squared. Kuan raman siya, area raman. And then B times H. Okay? Now, let's find our K. So, substitute ra na nato atong given diha, 65 cm is equals, cm squared is equals to K times 10 cm times 13 cm. And then this one, 10 times 13, that is 130 cm squared K. Remember ha, i-multiply po na nimo ang cm diha. So, cm times cm, that is cm squared. And then K. And then you have there, divide both sides by 130 cm. So, i-divide na to ang 65 cm squared over 130 cm squared. Pila man na siya. That is equivalent to okay, you have there 1/2. Okay, divide naman na nimo siya 65 both sides. So, 65 divided by 65, that is 1. 130 divided by 65, that is 2. Okay, and then equation nimo, you have there 1/2 is equals to B times H. Substitute ra nimong K, and then isolve na nato atong A kung ang iyahang base kay 8 and then altitude kay 11. So, you have there 1/2 times 8 times 11. Pila man na siya, class? That is 44 cm squared. So your area would be 44 cm squared if your base is 8 and then your altitude is 11. Okay, questions? Clarifications? Violent reactions? Okay, wala. Okay. Now, I think that's it for today lang usa, no? You have there the inverse and the joint variation. And then I will be posting you, or I will be posting you, I will be posting the combined variation sa tong LMS. So, napod ni siya dire. Okay? So, mo ni siya tong combined. And then, I think I will put video. Mangita ko sa YouTube. And then, you can also study this PPT. This is the last variation, class. Upat man na siya. Direct, inverse, joint, and combined. Okay? So far, any questions, clarifications, violent reactions? If none, please do put thumbs up in the chat.
Sir, wako thumbs up.
Okay, thumbs up. Okay, sige. So, kuan lang ka sa, just prepare for a quiz for today about ani nilang duha. Okay? And then, study pod sa atoang, kuan, sa atoang combined variation. Okay. Now, class, before let's end the meeting,